Everybody, welcome back. This is ZFools. I am just going to continue where we left off. We're going to change a couple things. We're going to now utilize this Master Combat Brain. What we're doing here, this will work for how it is right now, but for each of allies, it charging equals false, and for each of enemies, it charging equals false. And then we're immediately calling a page. We're writing code unnecessarily. Like, we're basically using the same line of code multiple times, and we simply just don't need to do that. So what we're going to do is we're going to control who is charging and who is not from this Master Combat Brain, okay, without using global. So what we're going to say, objects in world picker, this, we're going to make a new value called fighters, a new object set called fighters. Okay, so whoever is fighting. So we're going to say Master Combat Fighters incremented by me. Okay, so every single combatant, so these two here, these combatants, these fighters, will tell that, hey, increment that by me. Now, when energy greater than max energy, we're going to do this. We're going to keep this charging boolean here, and we can get rid of all three of those lines. We're saying, hey, all my allies need to stop charging, all my enemies need to stop charging, and I need to stop charging. Instead, what we're going to say is we have 100 energy. Master Combat charging equals false. Now, inside of this Master Combat, what we need to say is when charging equals true, do fighters charging fighters, whoops, that's silly. For each of fighters, we need to say for each of our fighters, it charging equals true. Okay? For each of fighters, it charging equals true. Now, what we're going to have is we're going to have some way we're going to say, hey, when we enter combat, Master Combat's charging equals true. But for now, what we're going to do, we're just going to say once charging equals true. So just once, it's going to start out as true, okay? Now, I'm just going to put a false statement here. Else charging equals false, it charging equals false. So let's come back in here, look at this. When we hit that energy, Master Combat charging equals false. We'll go into my turn, and we are going to get rid of all of this, and we are going to say object in world picker Master Combat equals true. Same thing in the AI turn, we are saying Master Combat charging equals true. So we basically eliminated like 20 tiles that we did not need when we have this Master Combat cube that we need to be utilizing. So let's test it out, make sure it works. Everything should stop. We're going to press the B button. Everything should continue. 2 seconds. Everything should continue. So today, what we're going to be doing, since we have now utilized the Master Combat, we're going to create other options. So here, we are going to rename this page choosing. So when we are choosing what to do, we are on this page. And when we press B, we're going to end turn. When we press A, we're going to create some new pages. And I want to tell you this, when you use call page or switch page, it is super, super important that you name them instead of use numbers. If I was using numbers, let's say I had 2 right here, call page 2. Now I'm on page 2. If I got an idea like, oh, great, I have a new idea. I want to add a new page. Insert page. Bam, now it's page 2. Call page 2. It's going to come here, and nothing's going to happen. We're going to fail. So always use names. That way you can insert as many pages as you want. But for now, what we're going to do is we're going to say when Y is pressed, we're going to shoot. We're going to rename this page shoot. Just did it the long way, but that's okay. And we're going to make sure that at the end of all these other options, we call page end turn. I cannot find it. I did not use a space. Call page end turn. Okay. Now here we want to make sure that we use switch page. It doesn't really matter, I guess. I mean, well, it does. It is going to matter, but right now it doesn't. Yeah. So what we're gonna have is we're gonna have this shoot here. Okay. Now when we get to this page right away, what we want to say is we want to shoot. We want to shoot. We're just gonna say at. We're not gonna use a. We're gonna use any special thing that we're shooting, but we're gonna say my enemy. Okay, and we're gonna do this. At the very beginning, we're gonna say my enemy equals enemies nearest object. So right now we're not cycling between other what enemy we wanna choose, and then we want to, but we will eventually. So when attack hit, when one of our attacks hits, I think this will be shooting. Yeah. Yeah, this works with melee or ranged combat. So when attack hits, switch page, enemy turn. At the enemy turn, when the end of the enemy turn happens, it is going to go over there. So we're going to go ahead and do the same thing in the AI turn. And we will do it this way. We are going to ignore, for now, this line of code. We got to switch all these to switch page. Whoops. End turn. Ah, not doing that again. All right, and now what we're going to do is we're going to come over to this brain. And we're going to copy page. On my phone. And we're going to insert page and paste page. So after 2 seconds, switch page, shoot. It's going to shoot at the enemy. It's going to go to page end turn. Bam, that's what's going to happen. So let's go ahead and see what happens when we hit test. It's going to fill up the bar. We're going to hit the Y button. Oh, it's going to continue shooting. After 2 seconds, it'll shoot us until we get hit. So what we want to make sure, that we only run that line of code one time. So we will say when let's see, when page entered, shoot at my enemy. So what page enter does is it just knows, hey, we just came into this page, so go ahead and shoot him. But what we'll say is we'll declare who the enemy is one time, and then we'll go ahead and do that. So I like it. I like it a lot. Let's see. There are a couple other things that are happening. I don't know if you noticed. I'll go ahead and show you. But when you get hit by a fireball, your character moves, right? So watch this. The goblin will actually move. So we have hit reactions on. We want hit reactions on. We definitely want hit reactions on. See, we're only shooting once now, so that's good. But we don't want to move away from our spot. So what we want to create is we want to create some positions, okay? So what we're going to do, we're going to use a logic cube for that. And we're going to have, we're going to use snap to grid. And we're going to have position 1 right here. We'll use this just to center it. So we have how many spaces over? 1 full cube, 2 full cube, 3 full cube, 4. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, whatever. You know what? I can probably just turn on the grid or whatever. Anyway, so there we go. These are our positions now. So I want to turn off snap to grid. We've already put that where we wanted it. So we're gonna do this cool little combat intro kind of scene, and we're gonna say that we're gonna actually create a new page here. No, we don't need to do that. We don't need to do that. So we will have, let's see, my spot equals object in world picker. Then this goblin, my spot equals there. All right, so these are their spots, and what we're gonna do is we're gonna add this line of code that says, we're just gonna say move toward my spot, minimum distance of 0. We'll say 0.05. That way it's not like, oh, we'll say 0.25. We'll just kind of mess this for a little bit. But anyway, so we're going to say move toward my spot, minimum distance of 0.25. Now, I'm not always going to be writing like multiple lines of code in both brains. I don't like writing the same line of code twice. If I'm writing that function in here and there, there's really probably a way that I can write that function in a separate brain one time and then just call that function from these two characters. That's like unnecessary writing of code. But we're doing this for troubleshooting and testing. We're just going to see what happens. So we are okay. So we have the shoot down. Now let's see what happens. Okay, so they both move to their spots. We shoot. Goblin gets hit. He didn't move back to his spot. Oh, yeah, they both moved back to their spot. See, he moved back to his spot, and then he's going to shoot me. And I'm going to move back to my spot. And then I'm going to shoot him. Cool. So you see that? He's moving back to his spot, as am I. Okay, now I killed him. So, stupid goblin. So, yeah. Let's see. I'm feeling pretty good about that. Let's go ahead and we'll make one more system here. We're gonna make our attack. Now this one's gonna be a little tricky. We're gonna need to do a few different things. So attack. This is our attack option, which eventually we're gonna have a list, and the list will go down from A, Y, B. Instead of being A, Y, and B, it'll just say attack, shoot, or end turn, and we'll be able to toggle through that with either our D-pad or our left control stick. Then you'll just select the option by pressing A, and that'll be nice. So let's go ahead and insert page and rename page attack. And again, we're doing this whole writing unnecessary lines of code. When page entered, my enemy equals enemy's nearest object. We are going to say we're going to say we need to move toward my enemy with a minimum distance of, eventually this number will be reach, so saying how far is, like, what's your melee reach, but right now we're just going to say with a minimum distance of 1, and we need to say when distance to my enemy is less than or equal to 1. Again, this will be reach. We are going to attack my enemy. We're going to say, yeah, we'll just do it this way for now. We may run into some issues with that later, just because the way these lines of code work, but we're fine. So we're going to say else move toward my enemy. So when distance to my enemy is less than or equal to 1, attack my enemy. Move toward my enemy. Okay, now this is what we need to do after this. We run up, we punch the enemy, okay? But we want to turn back and run around. But we don't want the character to actually turn around. So what we're going to say is we are going to do this. We are going to say we're going to say turn toward. So we're going to turn toward. We're going to be looking at whoever our enemy is. Okay, turn toward my enemy. Now we want to say when attack hit, we're going to also do this. When page entered, we are going to have this Boolean that's going to know when we're attacking. Darn controller. Attacking equals true, okay? So this is saying, hey, we are attacking something. The reason we're doing this is when we say when attacking equals false, when we're no longer attacking. When we are no longer attacking, we're going to switch page and turn. But how do we know when we're no longer attacking? Well, when our attack hits our enemy, we're going to move toward our spot. My spot. Again, we don't have to use global because this will be inside of that player's brain. Using global in a situation like this is, I wouldn't say lazy, but maybe sometimes it's just not the most efficient way to do it, and sometimes people just do it because they're ill-informed. So again, if the object is being added to, if the cube is being added to an object, you don't need to use global. No reason for that. So whoever is holding this brain, this will be the player turn, they're going to move back to their spot. Okay, move toward my spot. We're going to say with strafing, and because we're turned toward our enemy, that should be happening. Now, when attack hit, we're going to do this. When attacking equals false, and we are, and let's see, bump. I want to basically say when we are touching, and detect my spot. Okay. And detect my spot equals true. Oh, I guess I don't need to put, yeah, okay, so I don't need to put true there. I'm being a poo. So when we detect my spot. So let's see if this works. When attack hit, move toward my spot with strafing. So when attack hit, attacking equals true. So when these things are attacking equals false, I'm sorry. So when attacking equals false and detect my spot, we're going to end our turn. So let's test it out. See how this runs. We're going to press X. Oh, A, I mean. Yeah, you jerk. You just bully that goblin. Okay, so... oh, that's funny. So we need to say... When attack hit... Okay. When attacking... okay, equals true, do all these things. Okay, that's funny. That's funny. Okay. What a jerk. Alright, punch him once, and then back away with strafing. Nope, it didn't happen. So what are we doing wrong? We go and we punch him. Attacking equals false. When attack hit, attacking equals false. So we're going to say else. Okay, so when attacking equals true, do this. We're going to say distance to my enemy equals 1, attack my enemy, else move toward my enemy. When attacking becomes, when we hit the enemy, attacking equals false, okay? And when attacking is equal to false, we're going to move toward my spot. This is only happening for 1 frame. Now, this will be happening as long as attacking my enemy equals false. Attacking equals false. Once attack equals false and detect my spot equals true, or detect my enemy just exists, that's going to happen. So we will now attack. Blah. Boom. Move back to your spot with strafing. But he still needs to turn toward his enemy. So that was essentially what we wanted to do. I don't like the detect thing though, just because we have quite a large detect sphere. So we're gonna just say bump, and let's see. We want to turn toward my enemy, and instead of doing this, we're gonna say move away from my enemy. Actually, you know what? I think we're going to say move toward my spot. But what we're going to do is we're going to put this line of code into our combat brain here. Turn toward my enemy. And we can actually put that line of code in here. So we don't need it here anymore. Move toward my spot. And we're going to say with strafing. Okay. So now we've eliminated redundant code. We have made other options in the attack system, and this camera is kind of messing up what we're doing, because you'll see when we attack and we bump that object, our camera kind of freaks out a little bit. I don't like what we're doing. It doesn't like what we're doing. We do need to say when we I like using trigger zones, but I don't think we're going to do that. We're probably just going to go back to detect for now, and we'll fine-tune that later. We just need it working. So before we do that, though, before I move on to this next tutorial video, let's go ahead and copy this page, attack. We're going to come over here to the AI, and we're going to insert page, and we're going to paste page, attack. And all of this should still run with the AI. So let's go ahead and ignore line that, and we're going to say countdown timer. We're just going to do a countdown timer of 1, switch page, attack. And after we attack, we should be able to do that. So let's go ahead and test this out. And as long as it's working, I will call the video, and we will hopefully be able to start another one. Attack is A. Boom. We hit him with our attack. Go back to our spot. It's now his turn. We should make that movement a little quicker. So he's attacking us twice for some reason. He's just some sort of super goblin. So I think because he's swinging, we just need to fine-tune that line of code, I think. Let's see. We'll just do this. We'll just do started to attack my enemy. Because what's happening basically is he's attacking so fast. The attack is registering before the attack hit kind of thing. So we'll just say started to attack my enemy. Alright, so there we have it. We have a couple options now. We don't have our AI functioning in a way that is intelligent at all, but we'll create that just using random numbers here in a bit. So anyway, thanks for checking out the video, and we will see you next time.